Parents are spending, get this one, more than $500 billion a year on their adult children. And so obviously that's going to have an impact on the retirement. So here to give us on some tips on how to wean your children off your payroll is our financial wizard, Brent Wilsey. Good morning.
Good morning, Ginger.
I absolutely love this topic. First of all, the number is staggering. $500 million a year.
And it's twice what they put in their retirement. And that's why people having trouble with retirement is being too kind to their kids. And the thing is, we want to help our kids. We understand that. But gosh, you've got to teach kids financial responsibility and not being, 30 years old and your parents still helping you out. It's crazy.
What?
Yeah.
A 30-year-old? I thought we were just going to like cap it at about 25. Okay, so what are the ages that you're talking about?
Up to age 34. People still taking care of their kids at age 34. And the thing is, you have to understand when you're creating an entitlement and when you're actually helping them. Now, obviously, if they're divorced or a medical issue, yes, you need to help out those children. But you got to be careful of entitling them to where they're 28, 29 years old and still, living off on mom and dad. And one good example that I use here is that if they're going, just paid for all their college, they're going to get a good job as an internship to, bring them to the next level. Well, you might have to put in another $20,000 to help them out. But be careful of little Johnny or Susie that goes to school, gets a degree, goes to work in Starbucks and says, well, I want to be an actor or an actress. And they're on your payroll for the next 10 years because that's probably not going to happen.
You mentioned you want to be kind to your kids. But, it seems like the lines have gotten blurred in parenting, that kindness means you give them everything. There is a very valuable parenting lesson called financial responsibility, living within your means. So how do you wean them off your payroll then?
Well, a couple of things you can do. One is if they have debt, let's match their debt payments. They put in 100, you put in 100. So they kind of learn that, okay, I've got to do this. I'm learning that I got to make these payments. The other thing to do as well is encourage them to do their Roth, their 401k, whatever it may be, and say, look, if you put in 100, I'll put in 100 for you. So you teach them this way. One thing you do not want to do, Ginger, is you do not want to say, look, give me all your bills. I will pay them for you. I will help you. It's terrible. But people do that. And the thing is, they don't learn how expensive life is, and they become a financial illiterate where they don't know how to handle life. It's terrible.
Yeah, just even balancing a checkbook or even understanding what the bills are as far as, water that actually costs. Because, how many of us moms out there say, turn the lights off when you leave the room?
You hear your mom and dad saying that?
Oh, my God. I hear myself saying that all the time. But, as these kids get older, let's say you want to help them with a home purchase. Tell us about some ways that maybe if we're able to, we can assist our kids.
Yeah, this is another one, too, that you want to help your kids get a good start, so you help them with a home. What you want to be careful of is don't buy them their dream home. Don't buy them a home that's over what they can afford, because what's going to happen is that you say, gee, I want this beautiful home in La Jolla. It's great. All right, we'll get it for you. The kids can't afford the expenses. They can't afford the upkeep, and it becomes a financial burden again on you. What you want to do is be careful that when you buy the house, and this is another one that, too, they say, well, we'll buy the house for you, and you pay us back. Yes, I know. So you know this stuff. I've seen people fail this time and time again, because what happens, kids say, I don't have the money, I'm sorry, and all of a sudden you have another burden.
And it's your credit, too.
And it's your credit as well, but you've got to make the payments on it, and you're stuck, and you're now in retirement, you can't afford to pay another house. So when you do that, make sure you get a house that is a good starter home for them, not their dream home. And lastly, you got to be careful of gifting, because a lot of people say, oh, well, I'll put a down payment of $200,000. Well, you just crossed into gifting laws, which could cause you problem tax-wise. So make sure before you do this, you talk to your accountant or your CPA to say, okay, I want to give them X dollars. What is going to do my tax situation?
Okay, some good advice. And if my kids are watching, don't ask me for $200,000. I ain't got it. Just kidding. Brent, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Ginger.
Okay, nearly 200